High in the Andean mountains of modern-day Peru, ancient mysteries are carved into the stone. Monoliths, enigmatic art, and complex temples that whisper of a civilization long past. The Chavin people, whose influence stretched across vast regions between 900 BCE and 200 BCE, were among the earliest and most extraordinary cultures of pre-Columbian South America. They left no written records, and so much of what we know comes from their ruins, relics, and the landscapes they shaped. But who were the Chavin, and what legacy did they leave behind? The Chavín Civilization emerged at a pivotal time in the Andes, often described as a cultural horizon, a period that united disparate groups through shared rituals, beliefs, and styles. While not an empire in the sense of the later Inca, Chavín society nevertheless became the axis around which artistic, religious, and social developments revolved. Their heartland was the iconic site now called Chavín de Huántar, nestled in the Cordillera Blanca Mountains, strategically placed between the Peruvian coast and the Amazon rainforest. At the heart of the Chavín culture was religion, woven through every facet of life. Their ceremonial center, Chavín de Huántar, stands as a testament to their skill and vision. Constructed around a massive granite court and surrounded by impressive stone temples, the site is a labyrinth of galleries, plazas, and subterranean passages, all aligned with astronomical phenomena. The architectural wonder demonstrates advanced knowledge in acoustics, hydraulics, and engineering. Rainwater was funneled through stone channels, amplifying the roar of water to create dramatic sound effects during important rituals. An air of mystery pervades the sculpture and iconography of the Chavín, dominated by images of powerful priests, fierce deities, and fanciful creatures that blur the line between man and beast. The most famous of these enigmatic icons is the Lanzón monolith, a 15-foot stone carved with a fanged, snarling deity, the Lanzón god, that stood within the dark heart of Chavín's temple. This imposing figure, with its feline features, serpent hair, and menacing eyes, was approached by the faithful through twisting corridors, culminating in a sensory experience designed to awe and overwhelm. Such artistic creations reveal the core tenets of Chavín belief. Their cosmology was deeply shamanic. Priests, regarded as intermediaries between the human and divine realms, channeled the powers of nature through trance, ritual, and the consumption of hallucinogenic substances sourced from the surrounding forests. Artistic depictions show jaguars, eagles, caimans, and snakes, animals revered for their power and symbolism. Chavín priests are often shown in phantasmagorical transformation, becoming one with these sacred creatures, signifying their mastery over spiritual and earthly domains. Worship at Chavín de Huántar drew pilgrims from hundreds of miles away. Archaeological finds suggest the site was a place of pan-Andean convergence, where offerings of gold, obsidian, pottery, and shells from distant lands accumulated over generations. This vibrant gathering created a melting pot of ideas, styles, and technologies, allowing the Chavín to influence a wide network of societies across highland and coastal Peru. Daily life in Chavín times was shaped by these religious institutions. Settlements clustered around ceremonial centers, and community life centered on farming, fishing, weaving, pottery, and metallurgy. Chavín agriculture relied on the diverse environments accessible within a short distance, maize and potatoes from the highlands, along with beans, squash, and peppers from lower valleys. Specialized artisans crafted stone tools, textiles, carved gourds, and intricate gold ornaments, often depicting religious motifs. Perhaps one of the most enduring legacies of the Chavín is their role as cultural innovators. Their unique style of art, defined by intricate, swirling designs and the blending of human and animal forms, spread far beyond their homeland. The so-called Chavín style became a marker of status and religious authority, influencing everything from pottery and jewelry to monumental architecture across a wide swath of the Andes. Innovations extended to technology and engineering. The Chavín were master stonemasons, fitting massive blocks with precision and engineering walls, terraces, and drainages to withstand the restless earth and heavy mountain rains. In some ways, Their techniques foreshadowed later Andean wonders, including the legendary constructions of the Inca. Connections to the wider world were crucial. Chavín society did not exist in isolation, but stood at the crossroads of major cultural routes. Through mountainous trade paths, they acquired tropical fruits, medicinal plants, marine shells like the prized spondylus, and colorful feathers. They exported their distinctive ceramics, textiles, and religious ideology in exchange. This network extended their reach, drawing diverse peoples into a shared ritual tradition and setting the stage for later Andean societies. Despite their influence, the Chavín civilization was not everlasting. By around 200 BCE, their prominence waned. The reasons are not fully clear. Environmental change, social upheaval, or competition from emerging regional cultures may have contributed to their decline. The great temples fell into disuse, and the ceremonial landscape faded into obscurity. Yet, the echoes of their innovations and beliefs endured, shaping the ideologies and aesthetics of later Andean cultures, including the Moche, Nazca, and Wari. What can we infer about the Chavin, with only stones and remnants to guide us? Though we see only fragments, a broken idol, a shattered vessel, we glimpse a society deeply spiritual, sophisticated, and influential beyond its years. Social hierarchy in Chavin life was closely linked to religious standing. The priestly elite controlled access to the temples, rituals, and the interpreted messages of the gods. This spiritual authority translated into real-world power, allowing the priesthood to direct labor, manage food surpluses, and orchestrate the vast projects that defined Chavin ceremonial centers. Ordinary people, meanwhile, labored in the fields, worked as artisans, or served as attendants and pilgrims. Through archaeological excavations, we see hints of daily activity. Carved bone and shell tools, fragments of woven cotton and wool, and remains of food plants and animals paint a picture of a vibrant society. Some studies of human remains reveal ritual practices, such as the filing of teeth and cranial modification, likely symbols of status or religious devotion. The most intriguing aspects of the Chavin, however, are harder to grasp. Their oral traditions are lost, their language long vanished. Yet, through the artifacts and impressive monuments they left, their worldview remains partially illuminated. Their art resists easy interpretation, enigmatic, dense with symbolism. The Lanzan, for example, may have represented the axis mundi, the point where Earth and the supernatural connect, a conduit for shamanic transformation. Hallucinogenic San Pedro cactus, often depicted in carvings, likely played a central role in rituals involving altered states of consciousness. Ritual and religion united the Chavin people and their followers. The architecture of Chavín de Huántar, its echoing corridors, concealed spaces, and dramatic lighting, was carefully designed to evoke fear and awe, to impress upon pilgrims the inescapable power of the divine. During ceremonies, darkness, pounding water, and the absence of windows enclosed worshippers in an immersive religious experience. The Chavin worldview was above all one of transformation, not only in a spiritual sense, but also in the blending of styles, materials, and ideas. Their adoption and adaptation of coastal motifs, jungle resources, and highland practices made them a cultural crucible. It was here that Andean traditions coalesced, creating a foundation for regional and later pan-Andean developments. How did the Chavin achieve such far-reaching influence, despite their relatively small population and lack of military conquest? Most scholars agree that ideological and religious authority, rather than the sword, was their primary tool. Their gods, rituals, and imagery became the hallmarks of status and legitimacy for aspiring elites throughout the Andes, inspiring imitation and emulation. Today, the ruins of Chavín de Huántar are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserved as a testament to this lost civilization's achievements. Modern archaeologists, historians, and indigenous communities in Peru and beyond look to these ancient stones to unlock the secrets of an era that shaped the course of Andean history. The Chavin teach us that civilization is not always built through warfare and conquest. Sometimes it is the visionary, the dreamer, and the shaman who leave the greatest mark. Their legacy endures not only in physical monuments, but also in the ways later peoples understood themselves, their gods, and the very cosmos. To speak of the Chavin is to speak of transformation, of a world in flux, united by shared myths, beliefs, and artistic expression. It's to remember a people who, thousands of years ago, peered into the mists of the Andes to ask enduring questions about the world around them, and answered not in words, but in enduring stone and sublime art. Though the Chavín Civilization passed into legend, their spirit animates the Andes still, calling us to seek wisdom among the ancient temples in the clouds.